I, 24 female, am a bit paranoid about money. I didn't grow up in poverty, but times were rough, and the idea of living paycheck to paycheck makes me uncomfortable. It's important to mention that now I have a stable, good-paying job, but I struggled a lot during college since my parents weren't able to save enough for my college fund. So I worked bad jobs, and I was constantly exhausted during those years. I still ended up with some debt, and I want to be free of it ASAP. It's also important to mention that I come from a pretty religious family. When I landed this job, I decided to start an emergency fund. I put aside a few $100s every month, so in case anything happens, I get sick, I lose my job, etc., I will not end up in more debt or even worse. The only people who know about it are my sister, who plans to start her own emergency fund after she graduates and lands a good job, and I 100% trust my sister, so I think my honor someone else overheard us talking about it. Now the issue is, my cousin's 22 male girlfriend, 22, is pregnant, and they decided to keep it, even though they know they can't afford it. None of them has a stable job, inheritance, anything. So a few days ago, he came to ask me to give him my emergency fund since he's having an emergency. I was speechless. I asked him what he was talking about, even though I knew, but I couldn't believe someone could have this audacity. He told me he knew I had some savings and he desperately needed them. He didn't mention giving the money back. I told him those are my savings for when I'm having an emergency, but he pulled the Family Helps Family card. I still said no. While I understand they're in a difficult situation, I still think it's unfair that I'm asked to pay for his mistakes. I told them they should think more about what they're going to do in the future and how they're going to support this child if none of them has a stable income. Even if I give them my savings, that money's not enough for only a few months for me, for a family of 3 even less. I didn't mention termination, adoption, or anything, just that they're irresponsible for having a kid when none of them is financially stable. He eventually left me alone but started telling the rest of the family that I told him to get rid of the baby, which was not true. My parents and my sister were on my side, but the rest of the family started harassing us and calling me a godless witch. So, am I the idiot for keeping my savings? What? Not the idiot. I would laugh in his face too. Why is your cousin entitled to your emergency fund to compensate for his poor life planning and irresponsibility? You don't owe him anything. The best way to help him wouldn't be giving him handouts, but offering to help buy some baby necessities, like clothes, diapers, a crib, etc. But that's if you want to. I wouldn't get into buying stuff for him. He sounds like the type of person who'll just view that as a green light to request items from OP, rather than see what he can get for free or at a low cost online or from charities, or the church that his family's so very fond of. Surely they can help. Agree. His lack of planning is not your emergency. Also, his emergency is going to last 18 years. If his family thinks you're so awful, why aren't they handing over their own cash? I'm a bit surprised your pretty religious family didn't give your cousin an earful for getting his girlfriend pregnant, since they're not married yet. He should have kept it in his pants if he couldn't afford a kid. It's not even an emergency. He can get a job now and start saving. The fact that he's lying about what you said tell you even he knows he's wrong and is trying to manipulate everyone. Not a great plan to support an upcoming child. Stick to your guns. Your cousin can take out a loan or get money from the relatives who think you're such a witch for contributing the exact same amount they are. 0. I, 32 male, am engaged to Jessie, 30 female. We've been together for 7 years and have been trying for a baby for the past 2. Originally, I planned to propose during a family dinner at a Michelin star restaurant, so I paid for 12 people to be there, including hers and my family. I made the booking nearly 10 months ago. However, plans changed and I've since proposed during one of our holidays, as the time felt more right. 2 months before the dinner, we found out that Jessie's pregnant. I was beyond happy to hear that, so we decided to use the dinner to announce the pregnancy instead, alongside talking about wedding preparations. The place is rather high-end, so it has a strict dress code and set of rules to follow. Dinner was yesterday. My sister Emily decided to bring my nephew Kit with her, who's still breastfed and is currently teething. He's an infant. So instead of celebrating Jessie's pregnancy, many people were feeling uncomfortable due to my nephew crying nearly constantly, and the restaurant owner at some point asked us to leave since kids were not allowed and my nephew was disturbing other guests. I had no choice but to ask Emily to leave. She was hesitant at first. However, I reminded her of the rules of the place, and in no way or form did she contact me to ask if it would be okay to bring Kit with her. She's tried to defend herself, saying that he's young, but her boyfriend, who's also the father, could have stayed with Kit since he finishes work at 4. I've also told Emily how disappointed I was with what she did, as she ruined the dinner by bringing Kit to a place not made for kids. Emily didn't like that and left. The rest of the dinner went okay-ish, but I could feel the tension. Later that night, my mom and Aunt wasn't present as she lives far away and can't really travel, both called me to say that what I did was an idiot move, and Emily's now upset, and I need to apologize. Jessie's upset too, but because she felt like everyone paid attention to Kit and was trying to calm him down, instead of congratulating us or discussing the wedding, what the dinner was about. So, am I the idiot? Edit. The family members were sent a set of rules from the place, so they knew there would be an announcement and no kid rule. My future brother-in-law and my other brother also have young children, which they didn't bring, and hired a babysitter or asked a friend to look after, so they were aware the place doesn't allow young children. Not the idiot. I have kids. Some places are not kid-friendly. I don't take my kids there. Not everything is about being a parent, and having a teething baby doesn't mean you have an excuse to force others to endure your child fussing in an adult-only space. I doubt she would try to take her baby clubbing with her just because she's breastfeeding. Plus, the baby's father could have taken him. He's teething, not grafted to his mother. Gosh, I hate people who are so obsessed about kids that they call everyone who doesn't particularly like them or want them around a children hater. Nothing about this is discrimination. It's a fact that children make a lot of noise and are erratic, so they simply don't fit into specific environments. I think it's great there are kid-free restaurants, spas, and hotels. There are also many parents who agree with this. Imagine saving up to have a date night with your partner, away from your kids, just to be annoyed by screaming children in a spa or a restaurant. There are enough family-friendly places. OP, you gave Emily the rule that no children were allowed, and she brought her baby anyway. That's just rude. My boyfriend was buying his first car from a dealership. He asked if I could do the talking since I bought a few cars, so I got to work. I found several dealerships in the area selling the car he wanted and asked him to get a bank loan to cover the cost. I called them all on recorded lines and started price negotiations on the phone. Then I called the best ones back a few extra times, made sure I talked to a different person, and asked about all their taxes and fees. Surprise, they changed every call. My boyfriend hadn't been involved in the process till the day we went to test drive our first pick. In the middle of the test drive, I did a full mechanical inspection, marked every issue, and priced out the repair. During this, the dealer called my boyfriend, asking how long we'd be out, and he was kind of stressed. When he returned, I started negotiating along the lines of, the price we agreed on was for a car you said was in good condition, but this needs all this work. It took a while, and the dealer got irritated about arguing every mechanical flaw, but he did end up lowering the price a bit. He kept pushing to talk about financing, which I had been stalling on, so I started pretending to be considering a long-term loan to negotiate further down the purchase price. He said he couldn't go any lower on the purchase price, so I suggested my boyfriend and I leave for lunch and talk it over. At the diner, I asked my boyfriend just to let me do the talking, because sometimes an awkward silence works wonders. When we were at the diner, we got a call back that they could go lower, so we returned to the dealership and said we'd do it. We were taken to the finance office. They were irritated when they found out my boyfriend already had a loan. They'd given us that price assuming we'd take their financing. I held firm that we'd agreed on a price in writing, and it wasn't conditional on financing. Then when it got to the extra fees, they'd inflated them for me. So I pulled out the recording of the cheapest set of costs an employee promised me. They got irritated, and I stayed firm, saying I was willing to walk away if they were going to bait and switch me. So we got it, but the dealer and finance guy were very cold and rushed us out after closing. Immediately after we left the dealership, my boyfriend got upset with me, and he said that that was the most uncomfortable thing ever, and that I had been a witch, and he didn't know I'd argue all day with them, He was so stressed when we were sitting there in tense silence, waiting for the other to fold first. I got frustrated and snapped at him because I felt like I'd done a lot of work at his request, and he wasn't appreciative. Am I the idiot for how I negotiated the price of my boyfriend's car? Not the idiot. Women, generally speaking, already feel reluctant to negotiate compared to how comfortable men are with it. Also, car dealerships try to pull the wool over women buyers, so good for you for making your voice heard. He asked you to negotiate the best possible price you could. What did he think was going to happen? You'd show up and the dealer would roll over for you? It sounds like you did exactly what was asked and did it exceedingly well. Congratulations, and I am in awe of your negotiating prowess. Right, and if the boyfriend wanted to chicken out and just be nice and pay more money, he could have done that at any time. Instead, he let OP do all the work and then complained once it was all done and he got his car. Oh my God, I love it. I would die for a partner that would do all the talking for me. And not just that, but do it so well that I walk away with a benefit. I'd be forever grateful. Seriously, I can't believe the boyfriend is mad that OP did too good of a job helping him. What does he think happened here? Weaponized competence? OP should think twice before doing him such a big favor again. He sounds ungrateful. I am female, but I struggle with a lot of insecurity and jealousy over my sister, who's one of the most physically beautiful people I've ever seen. She's a natural head turner, and I wish it didn't bother me, but it does. She has advantages in life that most people can only dream of. Yesterday, she was on the phone in her room and I heard her on FaceTime complaining about how difficult her routine is, how much money it cost her, and how she has to wake up so early. I started banging on the wall to tell her to stop. She came busting into my room without knocking, saying, "What is your problem? I'm on my phone." I told her she was my problem, and I was sick of hearing her complain because every one of her advantages in life is because of good luck and good genetics, and no one wants to hear her complain. She told me to buzz off and I heard her crying in the hall. Then my mom came in and said I needed to apologize to her, that Sarah's way more insecure than I know. I said, that's crap. I'll never be fully accepted by myself or other people, and she needs to recognize how hard it is for me to hear her talk like that, because for me, this is real. For her, it's just playing dress up. My mom said that I'm really pushing it, and basically I'm 18. Sophia's younger, and if I can't figure out a way to be nice to her, I need to move into the dorms. I told her only 2 things happen to girls like me when they move into the dorms, and it sucks my mom's taking her side. My mom said I was exhausting, which is her code for an idiot, and left. Was I the idiot here? You are the idiot, sour grapes. Get a grip. If you think your looks put you at a disadvantage, adding a crappy personality is a bold strategy. Best of luck to your sister having to put up with you. OP, get over your jealousy and pettiness and start working on your insecurities. Yes, it's a fact that genetically people are prettier than others, but routine also plays a big thing. Diet, skincare, and grooming also play a huge factor. You've now become an adult. It's time to act like it and stop taking out your insecurities on your sister, who's still a kid. It's true when people say that the inside also plays a part in beauty, and yours is looking ugly right now. Agree. Just because a girl is pretty, it doesn't mean she's free from her own insecurities. Sophia was having a conversation with her friend, and you decided to involve yourself and make her feel bad. You need to work on being comfortable with yourself and not take it out on others for living their life. My 38 male, daughter, teen, lives with me full time. I married my now wife, Susie, 35, and we dated for 5 years, but she constantly clashed with Anna because of their personalities. Anna's a good kid, responsible, kind, and helps around, but she's overall an introvert who doesn't like to be around people that much and enjoys her time alone in her room, while Susie's the opposite. She loves socializing, doing stuff with people she loves, etc. She always invites Anna to help her cook and bake, do some gardening, etc., since they're both home most of the time, but Anna always says no. Susie has ADHD. Anna always tells Susie off because she thinks she overwhelms her with the constant need to be around her. After all, Susie tends to knock at her door too much. She sometimes barges in, and she feels she forces her to spend time together because if Anna's in the living room, the kitchen, or in the garden reading, Susie sits next to her and starts to talk, and then gets sad because she doesn't like to be around her. We've attended family therapy, and Anna's doing her solo sessions. I've also told Susie that Anna's privacy and solo time should be respected, but I don't think that it's a good thing that Anna refuses any contact with Susie, and I don't think she's even trying at all. Anna has explained that being around Susie tries her quicker than any other person because she knows my wife wishes she were more expressive and talkative, and it makes her uncomfortable. Yesterday I came home early, and I overheard Anna yelling at Susie to get out of her room. I went to see what was happening, and Anna was pushing Susie out. She said that Susie just knocked and let herself in, like she always does, while she was getting dressed. Susie was apologizing and saying that she forgot the rule, but Anna said she was tired and that dealing with Susie is worse than dealing with a small kid. This made Susie cry, and I said it wasn't nice of her, and I grounded her with a week with no phone. She's not talking to me right now, and I wonder if I was wrong, because she's never given me the cold shoulder. Okay, let me get this straight. You grounded your daughter for being upset that your wife barged in on her while she was changing? And instead of immediately going, "Oops, sorry," she tried to strike up a conversation with your daughter while half naked, instead of getting onto your wife for not respecting your daughter's boundaries. By the way, this isn't an ADHD problem. ADHD is not an excuse to be barging into people's private spaces without invitation. This is a your wife choosing not to respect boundaries problem. You are the idiot, OP. I feel sorry for Anna. I felt exhausted just reading this. I can't imagine the utter nightmare it would have to be to deal with someone like Susie. I don't exaggerate when I say that I'd probably be in tears from frustration. I'd probably try to take an hours-long bath so that I could be guaranteed, hopefully, some privacy. I came here to say the same thing. Poor Anna. I couldn't imagine someone barging into my room while dressing and then crying when they get kicked out. It's not even just remembering to knock. It's remembering to knock and then waiting for permission to enter. Also, she's a 35-year-old woman. This should not be a new concept. What the heck is wrong with the father for allowing his wife to act this way? OP, how about your wife gets to know your daughter as she is, not who she wants her to be? Honestly, the daughter's the most emotionally mature person in this household, so I wouldn't be surprised if your daughter decides to go no contact when they turn 18, if you keep allowing this. When my 42 male, daughter May, young teen, came out a year ago, I was completely fine with it. She's been dating Allie, young female teen, for 8 months. They're great together, and I'm entirely supportive. My sister, 38, has always been the golden child, and my parents threatened no contact with my daughter and me if we didn't let her move in with us, and she couldn't pay rent anymore because she couldn't keep a job. She's lazy, and my parents enable her laziness and give her money. I reluctantly complied. So 2 months later, here we are. My sister is stuck on the concept that guys marry girls, no in between. She'll roll her eyes in disgust if Allie and May are holding hands or something, but that's about it. She doesn't say anything about it ever. Today, Allie and May took selfies in the game room and talked about the Pride Festival they went to last week. Then my sister barged in and started ranting about how ridiculous it is that she's dating a girl, and that love is only loving if it's between a boy and a girl. My daughter looked genuinely hurt. Cue me. I came upstairs and saw the look on my daughter's face, and I asked my sister to leave the room. I asked the girls what happened, and they explained it to me. I confronted my sister, and she denied it. I pulled up the security camera feed on my phone. It picks up video and audio, not in bedrooms or bathrooms, and played it back to her shocked face. She had no idea I had a camera in my house. I told her to get the heck out of my house if she would treat my daughter like that. So she packed her stuff and left within half an hour. My parents were furious at me, and they took my sister in. No one in my family's talking to my daughter or me, and I'm not sure I made the right call. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Good for you for standing up for your daughter. Let your sister be with your parents since they love her so much. It's not your responsibility to take care of a grown woman. And let your parents go no contact over this. Why would you want people in your life who do emotional blackmail and abuse? If sis feels comfortable harassing OP's daughter when she thinks she won't be caught, and hilariously was, then lies about it, she's an awful person. And while she's freeloading in their home, parents created a monster. They can reap what they sowed and enjoy. Good on OP for standing up for his kiddo. If the rest of the extended fam thinks he's at fault, they can go kick rocks too. But they already know they created a monster and didn't want to deal with her, but felt guilty about her being homeless. So they forced OP to take her in so she wouldn't be. But do not let that guilt trip you either. Sister made her own bed, and she can lay in it or get her crap together. I'm so proud, OP. You're the kind of dad young queer kids wish they had. Your daughter will probably remember this moment for the rest of her life as the moment you became unequivocally trustworthy. You didn't just accept your daughter, you fought for her. OP, you 100% did the right thing. You are the idiot for letting disgusted looks go on for 2 months against your daughter. All those daily constant little rudeness and hurts can add up to something damn tiring and painful. You should have kicked her butt out after the first instance of phobia against your daughter's relationship. If someone gave her little smacks on the face for 2 months, would you have let that go on for so long? Did you dismiss it as not a big deal or not that awful? Why didn't you do anything the very first time? You say you noticed when she rolled her eyes in disgust at the sight of them. Your daughter saw it too. You noticed. You didn't do anything about it for 2 months? The part that really rubs me the wrong way is that you have indoor video and audio monitoring of your family inside their own home. Bedrooms and bathrooms being excluded doesn't make it much better. You did not need that recording to believe your daughter's story. Your sister is an established liar. If you could hear your sister barging in on your daughter, it also means you recorded her interaction with her girlfriend. For that reason, I'm saying, everyone's the idiot here. Cameras should be rolling when no one is home, not spying on your family. I, 34 female, have 3 kids, tween, pre-tween, and kindergartner. They're from 2 different fathers and neither is very involved in their lives. Please don't judge. I made very questionable choices regarding men in my 20s, but I got some amazing kids out of it, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I've been dating my current boyfriend, 35, for 3 years, and he moved in with us about 8 months ago. He's been an amazing father figure to my kids, even though they aren't his. My boyfriend and I have been trying to plan a vacation for just the 2 of us for months now. But between our work schedules and the kids, it's been tough to get something that works for everyone. I thought we had planned a week away for the second week in July, so I started making travel arrangements. But then my boyfriend's work situation changed, change in ownership, and he can no longer make the trip. So rather than reschedule everything, I invited a friend to come with me instead. Since I didn't want to leave my boyfriend in charge of my kids while I was away, I asked my sister to come and stay at our place to help. She's on summer break for college and currently staying with our parents, so she jumped at the opportunity. I also told her I would pay her. When I told my boyfriend my plan, he got angry with me. He was apparently under the assumption that I would cancel the trip and we would reschedule. I told him I never said that, and I'd already made some arrangements, and since it was so difficult to find a time that worked, I was going to go ahead and go, and he and I could schedule something for a different time. He said he would not babysit 4 kids while I was gone. He included my sister as one of the kids, even though she's 20 and fully capable of taking care of herself and my kids. He said I'm an idiot for ditching him with my kids while I'm off enjoying the vacation that we were supposed to be on together. I told him I hadn't had a break like this since my youngest was born 5 years ago, and I deserved it. He said deserve has nothing to do with it when I'm dumping my kids on him and expecting a 19-year-old will be capable of taking care of 3 kids for a week without a crap load of help. He said if I go on this trip, then he isn't going to help my sister with the kids unless it's an absolute life or death emergency. I told him to step up and act like an adult because it's only 1 week, and when I get back, we can start planning our own trip together again. He said that if I go on this trip, then not to bother planning another one. I asked what that meant, and he told me I knew exactly what it meant. He said it's BS that I'm ditching him with other men's kids for a week and thinking that having my sister here for a week will magically make everything easy. I haven't had a break for 5 years and I'm running on fumes. I need this break. My sister can take care of the kids just fine. So, am I the idiot? You are the idiot. You're not asking your sister to babysit. You're ditching your boyfriend and leaving him to be with your kids while you vacation with someone else. It sounds like you never discussed any of this with him. He was surprised you're not canceling, surprised your sister's coming over, and also shocked to hear he's now been volunteering to watch your kids. He has every right to be surprised. Your language shows you're trying to justify this behavior by saying I deserve it. I'm inclined to agree with your boyfriend here. You're totally running off and having zero consideration for him. You are the idiot. It seems like you're still making those questionable choices that you claim you only made during your 20s. You are leaving him with other men's kids. You are ruining your relationship with him. You just proved to him that you're more important than him. And you're actually going on this vacation you planned together? I think you're an entitled idiot as well. Any good, decent partner would put the trip on hold for the significant other to attend. You're actually going to leave him high and dry with your kids and your sister so you can go on vacation? LOL. What? Trust him when he says there will be no others after this. He's telling you the truth, and you're not listening. I'm now a 22-year-old male, and I have a good relationship with my dad, 43. When I was 16, my dad was caught cheating. My mom kicked him out, and he got his affair partner pregnant. His affair partner was so much younger than him and left him with the kids, young male twins. She's still in the picture, but acts more like a distant relative. He's been a single dad ever since. My mom and dad have reconciled and improved their relationship for my sake. My mom even helped him watch the babies a couple of times. I love them, and I've never considered them to be my half-siblings, but my siblings. I've watched them a couple of times too, for a couple of hours. After the divorce, he dated a couple of people, but nothing serious until he met Dan, 40 male. 2.5 years ago, no surprises here, my dad is openly bi and even dated men before meeting my mom. They got married this past May, and it was a nice wedding. Mom was there, I was there, the twins, family. My dad is a great dad to the twins and me. I have no complaints about him. He's never left us behind. But I think he's in a part of his life where he wants and needs time to himself. They couldn't have their honeymoon immediately, and they planned to have it in a couple of weeks. Dan wanted to take the boys with them, but my dad convinced him not to. He argued that they'd have their whole lives to see the boys, and they needed this time for themselves. Dan agreed. They asked my mom to watch the boys. They call her mom. They know she isn't their mom, but my mom refused to because it's going to be 3 weeks long. And I get why my mom doesn't want to be that responsible for the kids. She usually watches them for a couple of hours. Then my dad asked me, but I told him that I'm not a babysitter, and if he wants me to be one, he'll have to pay. So he got mad at me and said that they were my siblings, and this was just a hand he needed. Here's the thing. The boys are messy, like any other kids I know, but they're also a little shy and bratty. So when another person watches them, they scream, cry, tantrums, etc. That's why my dad can't hire another nanny. Whether it's my mom or me, though my mom refuses. So whether I take care of them, I'm on a break from college, or my dad takes them. Am I the idiot for expecting my dad to pay? Not the idiot. 3 weeks of young twins is too long for a favor. A weekend, maybe, but your dad expects you to drop everything and be on duty as a parent for 21 days? It may be summer break, but you still got stuff to do, things you can't do when taking care of little kids. He should either cut his honeymoon way down or pay you without complaining. And he should also pay for them to go to day camp during the week, so you have at least 6 hours off each day. He should both shorten his honeymoon and pay OP. Honestly, a 3-week honeymoon when you've got young kids seems excessive. The twins are too young for a 3-week disappearance from their primary attachment figure. Sorry, I know that's not what you're asking. I think it's really commendable how forgiving and loving you've been. Many wouldn't have been able to do what you and your mom have been doing with your dad and the twins. I think the honeymoon itself needs rethinking from your dad. I'm sorry, I cannot focus on anything else in the story. but the fact that your mom is a Wonder Woman. She's got a soul made of gold, because Lord knows I wouldn't have been able to do what your mom did. The locket used to be my mom's. She died when I was 8. My dad remarried when I was 10 and had Chelsea and Noah with his second wife. I got the locket when I was graduating, along with this letter she wrote stating her wishes for me to get it as a gift, just like my mom got it from her parents when she graduated. I've continued to wear it ever since, just like my mom. I plan to pass it on to one of my children and give them a chance to wear it for graduation if they wish to. My half-sister graduated this year. She wanted to wear the locket. She asked my dad, who told her of course she could, but I own it now, so he had no right to say yes. So I got a call from her saying she was allowed to wear it. I told her nobody asked me, and I had not approved it. She told me Dad did. I told her Dad couldn't make that decision, and it had been mine for over a decade and was always supposed to be mine. She went and complained to our dad and her mom. They told me that I should let her wear it for some photos because it is a special family heirloom. I pointed out that it was my mom's heirloom, and my half-sister had nothing to do with my mom. That nowhere in her letter did she state she wanted my dad's children with someone else to wear it. Dad said it was mine though, and my sister can see graduation photos of me and my mom in their home, where we're both wearing it. I suggested his wife start something similar with her daughter. My half-sister asked me before her graduation to give a good reason not to let her wear it. I told her it was something special from my mom that my mom wore and wanted me to have. She said it didn't matter about my mom. She said it mattered that it was pretty. So I told her she could get her parents to buy her an even prettier one. She never got the locket. They were all incredibly angry with me for denying her the chance to wear it. She said it made her feel like not a real sister. My dad's wife said her daughter deserved to have a photo matching her sister, aka me, on the wall. Dad told me I could have let her wear it for one day. Yet when pressed, he admitted my half-sister cared more about how pretty it was versus any real family connection. Am I the idiot? Nope, not the idiot. Why would she even want to? It's pretty isn't a reason. She sounds like a spoiled brat, and her parents enable her. Petty and me would ask stepmom for her engagement or wedding ring just to wear it because it's so pretty, and after all, we are family. Good on you for sticking to your guns on this one, OP. Let them be angry. They're in the wrong. She's not entitled to anything of yours, let alone a gift from your mom. Keep that locket and treasure it always. I'm sorry for your loss, no matter when it happened. Losing a parent is very difficult, and I'm sorry your stepsister is tainting a beautiful heirloom. As harsh as this is, she's not part of your mom's family, so no locket. So I gained some weight, and in the interim, discovered I have a drinking issue. I'm working with a counselor, and I'm starting to get my body back through that. It's been tough, and of course with every relapse, I get that bloat back, so it's up and down. I was at a cookout with my husband's family, where we were just catching up after a few months of scattered communication. I like my in-laws, they're great people. But when mother-in-law asked me how the counseling has been, and if I've seen improvement, I shared some of my struggles with the back and forth. The weight gain usually centers in my stomach with the bloat, and in my face, so it's tough for me to ignore. Mother-in-law said she was proud of me, and I thought that was it. Sister-in-law got defensive and pushed into the conversation saying, "Oh, if you think you're big, what do you think that makes me?" I said that I'm talking about me, my body, and not hers, so it's irrelevant. She huffed and was just like, "Yeah, but when you talk about your body, you're also talking about everyone else's body. So if you think your body's big, you must think mine is massive." I really didn't want to continue down this path, so I said, "Sister-in-law, my body image has nothing to do with you, so stop trying to make it about you. Not everything is about you." She got really upset and huffed off. Later, I found out that she went to different groups to get everyone on her side. When that didn't work, she went on Facebook to rant about body acceptance stuff and accused me of weaponizing alcoholism, which was not a phrase I ever thought I'd say or type. I asked mother-in-law, and she said she didn't think our conversation was anything to worry about. Still, my husband told me it was probably a rude move because my sister-in-law's always been bigger and more sensitive about it. So shutting her down like that must have felt invalidating. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I'm fat and sensitive about it. However, her behavior still seems completely unacceptable to me. Please explain to your husband that, first of all, it's your body, and you have the right to make comments about it. As you said, this had nothing to do with her. It's not your job to protect her feelings or to shield her from her own insecurities. If your comments made sister-in-law uncomfortable, she could have politely and privately told you to please not make them around her. But to lash out at you and then crap on you behind your back is self-centered, immature, and so entitled. She's the rude one, not you. OP's husband sounds like a don't rock the boat type. He'd rather blame OP than hold sister-in-law accountable because sister-in-law has issues she likes to ignore. OP, your sister-in-law needs therapy. You are 100% correct when you say your image of yourself has nothing to do with her. Even the people of Facebook aren't on her side and know she got it twisted. She has issues to deal with.